Committees, governmental committees, watching over governmental issues and giving course of action. They identify issues for legislative review. They gather information to evaluate what's happening. The 4 actions to bring a course of action is requesting written comments from relevant agencies.
The House Committee has those 2 categories, the original jurisdiction and special rules. The House Rules Committee considers the bill. They decide the order to consider the bills. They decide to even consider it. They pick the time and extent of debate. They have the power to decide the fate. The party with majority usually wins, which is great. They control the House, they control the bills, they control the people, they even control you. They're the committee with all the power. They're at the top of the tower. Committee, governmental committees.
We're off to the Senate.
A filibuster, what is that? They put everything on hold. They try to prevent a bill. The Senate members talks and talks. A filibuster can go on for many of those hours. They talk about whatever they want. Congressmen just have to listen. In the 1940s, they were used to kill civil rights bills. How do you stop it? They can override it. They use cloture, which is 2/3 majority vote. 60 votes is all it takes to put an end to what's at stake. Forget the filibuster and come up with this unanimous consent agreement to get stuff done and stop the talking. Senate members can also create holds for a bill. Senate members can communicate with the leader. They talk about measures and matters available for floor consideration. A senator doesn't like a bill or measure. What do? They tell the floor leader they don't want it to go through. They don't want it to reach the floor for considerations. The unanimous consent agreements are negotiations. They are used to decrease the amount of time for a bill. They even agree to bring a bill to the floor. They can expedite the course of legislation at a drop of a dime. All it takes is time. Rioters then take a look at the bill. They usually have little connection with the subject. Policy writers add additional things to a bill that couldn't become their own law by adding their own provisions, or they use those poison pills which attach controversial subjects to get a bill killed.
A veto. What is a veto? It's a no vote that blocks a bill. Who would dare block the bill? The President of the U.S., my friend. This is the first time since Bush. Wait a second, I actually like this bill. Sorry, Mr. Prez, but the House can override you, so that sucks for you. We've only ever done this in one of 18 vetoes. That happened to be Clinton in 1998. President has an influence, don't believe me. I'm gonna veto. Now try passing a bill. See, it can't happen, but if you make a few changes, maybe it can happen. If the changes aren't up to standards, toss that bill out. The president is the only one to veto. He doesn't like a bill, then he won't touch it. Then in those 10 days, bye-bye bill, but only if the Congress is not in the House. And boom, that's a pocket veto. If Congress is in the House, well, that's another story because it becomes a bill. If he does like the bill, then he makes it a law. These 4 ways are the ways to make a law. Thank you, past Mr. President, for having that job.